Hello and welcome to Rule of Three's video review for Anarchy Reigns, a beat-them-up brawler game thing from Platinum Games. With me is Synyster Dreamer, our normal guy who's always in these things. How you doing?
Pretty good, and yourself?
Doing amazing. And our guest, because Impressions isn't here, is our usual guest, Lizzie Manan. How you doing?
Not bad.
It's good. So it's been a while since we've had to do one of these recordings. What, 4 weeks?
Yeah, Christmas, holidays, gotta get away from it since, there's nothing to review.
Well, I did the Secret World last week just to have something, but since we've had like a traditional one of these, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So anyway, like I said, we're gonna be talking about Anarchy Reigns, and the first thing we're gonna go into is the story because it is by far the easiest thing to talk about this game. It is really hashed on, and I was confused for most of it.
Felt like, it was a last idea thrown into the game.
Very much so, because like later in the game, like I understand some of the character issues that were going on because they were established in the game, but 95% of the stuff that they were talking about or, went into, they never talked about previously.
The only reason they had a story mode was for you to unlock characters. It had no actual purpose.
It really was to unlock characters. So anyways, there's two story modes. There's black side and white side. Black side follows a guy named Jack. If you played Mad World on the Wii, which is one of the few good Wii games that ever came out, it is the main character from that game. He has a chainsaw for an arm. He is awesome and very, very Gears of War designed. Wouldn't you agree? Big body, small head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, and then on white side you play as a guy named Leo who works for the government, and yeah, that's pretty much all he really is. He's also a cyborg.
Cyborg has blades for weapons that pop out of arms and legs.
That's all the guys in this game. That's all they all have the same weapon, which kind of irked me a little bit. I liked a little bit of originality from some of them, but most of them were blades come out of arms and legs. So anyway, other than that, I mean, all the characters, story, and that you play in this game were all cyborgs because this is the future where everything sucks and everybody has cybernetic implants and augmentations, or you're a mutant, or you're just a crazy person.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, it's a very crazy world. And if you played Mad World, you'd kind of understand why that is, because I haven't quite figured out if this is connected to the Mad World, other than Jack, and I think one of the other characters is in it, one of the females.
There's about 4 or 5 characters that came up from Mad World. There's actually a handful of them.
Are there? Okay. I've been
Yeah.
played Mad World. I just...
This is supposed to be the sequel to Mad World.
Okay, well, some of them died. I know the girl that I remember was a boss, and you brutally murdered her. Like, brutally. Go play Mad World if you haven't. It is very violent and awesome. Anyway, did you guys ever play Mad World?
Nope.
So anyway, I wasn't sure if this was a sequel or a prequel or what was really going on, but that's not the point, because the story in this game, like I said, is mediocre at best.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys have any more thoughts on that before we move into what the game actually is about?
Besides the chat cutscenes reminding me of Speed Racer.
Mouths moved and no words would come out. It was awesome.
Or they would laugh, and it would look like they were talking instead of laughing.
Yes.
Yeah, good old Speed Racer.
Good old speeders. But the actual cutscenes were kind of cool to watch.
Yeah, the actual cutscenes were pretty cool. It's just when you got to a chat scene between two characters, their mouth would move like they're talking, but the lines wouldn't match up, and they're talking and laughing, and their mouths are still moving as if they're talking. It's like, okay. Seems like you just threw this in.
Yeah, the other thing in Storm, which I totally forgot about until now, was it's when you do campaign, it's set up into you have a big open plain, which is basically if you play the multiplayer and the battle maps, it's basically one of the battle maps that you can just roam around it. Is there, you fight people on it to build points. You get enough points, you unlock what are called missions. These missions give you tons of points and give you medals.
Well, and also the fact that you have two different missions. You have your main mission, which is the story mission. Then you have your free missions, which gain you points to unlock the main mission, which you have to do like 2 or 3 runs of free missions to unlock a main mission and rinse and repeat.
Yeah. Well, I only had to do one of the side missions because I'd always. This game is really easy to get the platinums, in my opinion, if you know what you're doing. Because at first I didn't know, I was just kind of button mashing. But once I actually figured out the controls and how to, you know, kill people more effectively in the missions, I was getting platinums left and right as long as I didn't die.
Yeah, that was one thing. Is like when you figured out, okay, this is how to get the combat down. Okay, I can run through this like, oh, platinum, platinum, platinum.
Yeah. But do you have any like things you want to say on the free missions, either one of you, or the story, either one of the missions?
I thought the free missions were kind of fun. They were a lot of stuff that didn't have like any meaning on anything. Most of the time, you were just beating people up or whatever. But I enjoyed them. And then the main missions, if you got rid of the pointless cutscenes, those fights were fun too.
Yeah, well, the main missions felt like more like, once again, all I felt campaign was just a glorified training mode.
Yep.
Because that's all of. Because the boss battles were more or less kind of built to kind of train you for how to deal with characters, the other characters, and how they attack and, you know, do things.
How to catch missiles and throw them back. How to do pretty much everything that you needed for just multiplayer.
Yeah. So, because I remember when we did the first impression, I jumped straight into multiplayer. And some of the guys were like, oh, I don't know if this guy's done campaign, because I was only playing as Jack. And I think I played one game as Leo for the live stream. Eventually I played on them all, just so I knew how they all worked. But, yeah, that's all. Once I had no idea what I was doing on that run, and then I played campaign, like, oh, now I know how to play this game.
Pretty much.
So, yeah. And that's really all campaign is. It's a tutorial-driven, or a story tutorial. That really means nothing.
You know, which basically leads you into multiplayer, which is like, that's where you use everything you've learned from the story.
This big game was made for multiplayer, as we'll talk about. And then, did you have any feelings on the missions, Synyster? Or anything on campaign?
Not really. Short, unfocused, and basically just, okay, here you go, have fun.
Alright, so now we're going to go into the gameplay of how this game actually works. It is very complicated if you don't do the story or pay attention to the control scheme. Because if you play on... This game is 95% online play. And other people will beat the crap out of you if you don't figure out the control scheme and how to do everything. Would you agree?
Very much. You can't just jump into multiplayer thinking, oh, you know, I can just button mash. No. There's the energy gauge that you can only get like 4 bars, and if you know spam your heavy attack, you only get 4 moves of that, and then you have to just normal attack to build it back up, and you can't just do like normal and just rush in and go, oh, I'll just beat the crap out of everybody.
I did. It doesn't work. So gameplay is broken down in a couple ways. There's 3 types of attack. Well, 3 basic attacks. You have your normal, just punch, punch, punch attack. You have a more heavy attack, and like kind of you can also charge with that, which is kind of fun. You can like dash across the map if you do it right. And then you have a grab. Those are your basic attacks. All those attacks build up what's called the rage bar, I think.
I believe I just call it an energy bar.
I forget. There's 2 bars. There's energy bar.
It's a gauge bar thing underneath your health bar. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that really is. It builds up that, but you also get hyper or your rage mode point like build up as well with those, which puts you into a super invincible state, and you just beat the ever living crap out of everything. And then those are the basic gauges. Those gauges, the first gauge we're talking about allows you to do what's called a devastating attack, which is you bust out your cybernetic weaponry, and once again you have a normal and a very heavy attack. The normal attack has a basic 4-hit combo, which does a lot of damage, and then your heavy, if you actually are able to land it, which I'll tell you an easy strategy to do that later, it will do a massive amount of damage to their health. Like, it takes out a good third.
Yeah,
But
that's if you can land it.
it's very difficult to land. But I found a very easy way to land it, and I'll tell people how to do that once we get to the net. Well, no, well, I'll tell you now. Okay, so the last attack that you can really do is what's called a 360 attack. This is how you get out of combos for the most part, is you become invincible, you sacrifice a little bit of health, and everybody around you will get hit. Now, if you can plan this, almost everybody, as soon as you start hitting somebody, they'll instantly start doing it. You can evade out, which is another button, and let them do it. As soon as it's done, run in, get your devastating attack, hit triangle, and you will always hit them because there's about a 2 to 3 second gap when they're completely vulnerable. And if you land it, they lose like a good chunk of their health. And that is a huge part of the strategy of this game that I found for me, is wait for them to do the 360 attack, go in and do that, and then I pretty much kill them in one hit because they already have enough damage done. It is good strategy. Did you guys find any strategies you used? Or you just beat them up?
You basically just tag team enemies with other teammates. Well, that's if I had actually got online to play it any at all, because considering matchmaking was kind of horrible.
Yeah, for the most part, I didn't really focus on strategies and stuff. It took long enough to get into a game that I didn't play a whole lot of multiplayer. I spent a lot of time in the single player.
So, those are all the basic buttons, and then obviously there's move, jump, and you just kind of move around the map, and you eventually find, if there's, let's go into the game modes, at least the two major ones that there are. There is Team Deathmatch, which is, Team Deathmatch. And then there's a free-for-all. It's 16 people, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
It's 6 person on the map, and you beat the ever-living crap of everybody. That, in my opinion, was the best gameplay mode. I think.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Is the matchmaking. You had team deathmatch, free for all, and then you also had a 2v2 match that would sometimes come up.
Yeah, more of an arena, and that was always the smaller arena stages for the 2v2s. So let's get into matchmaking for the online portion because we've already started bagging on it. Yeah, it takes forever.
Yeah. Oh, and also the random AI generator that it throws you in is not really well done. And also the fact that there's no actual sorting of rankings. You can be a level 1, level whatever, low level, and you're being thrown into a match with level 50s.
Right. Well, what levels really matter, or the ranking? All it did was unlock more of the perks.
Abilities, which, mind you, if you're a level 1, you only have 6 abilities. If you're a level 50, you've pretty much unlocked all of them, and you have more of a way of, killing a level 1.
Yeah. That's the one thing we forgot to bring up with the gameplay. When you do multiplayer, you do get to choose a perk, and these perks give you special bonuses to something. Some of them are really bad, some of them are really overpowered, as I found out.
Yeah, and just the whole thing with the multiplayer is they could have done a lot better with it, doing a sort system where it's oh, well, you're a level 1, well, we put you in with level 1 through 5.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
They also had a bunch of partially filled matches, so you could jump into a game and there's 2 of you and you need 8. And then if you jump out of the queue because you don't want to wait that long, you jump into another one, you're in another game that is only partially filled. So instead of it just throwing the first 16 people who hit the matchmaking all into one game, they divide you out, which is a terrible idea.
Yeah, because I know for at least the one 16, or no, I did a couple of them, but one of them, the 16 people, there was a good 7 of us in there for about 10 minutes. And I would back out, and then it would dump in that same game, or another one that was partially. It took forever. I mean, they need to rework the matchmaking system in this game, because it's a turnoff. It really is.
What they should have done is, depending on how many people were currently looking for a match, decided the type of match around that, instead of just choosing, randomly generating a match and then throwing people in it, even if there's only 4 people on. Instead of giving those 4 people a 2v2 match, they give them a 4v4 or an 8v8 or whatever.
Right. Versus Synyster.
Yeah, it's like I've been saying, it's just like the whole basically random generator AI system just needs to be overhauled. Considering it's just like even when we were playing, you were playing on the live stream, and I was commenting with you, and I was playing my version. It's just like I'm sitting there going, okay, here's a match. There's 3 people on the other enemy team, and I'm on blue. Why are we sitting here? We had 4 people. We could have done a 2v2.
Yeah, and the other thing is, once again, this is one of the biggest drawbacks to this game, as you can tell. It's just the matchmaking. Is it's what, a 60-second wait once you have all the players.
Yes, it's a 60-second wait once everyone readies up after they make their decision. It's a 60-second, another basically minute to wait for the match to even start, and then I think it's even another 30 seconds once you get in the game for you to run around and figure out where everything's at and go before the match even starts. So that's a minute and a half of
Prep.
waiting around.
Easy way to fix this: change it to 10 seconds minimum. Or maximum, not minimum.
Yeah.
10 seconds. That would solve all this, because I know I had a couple of games where the everybody was in and the countdown would start, and it would go down and down and down, and then somebody would drop, and then the timer would stop, and then we had to wait for another person to come in, and then the timer would stop, and luckily the timer, once it starts, it doesn't go back all the way up to 60. It'll start up where it left, but it's still like, okay, 30 seconds, nobody dropped, somebody dropped. And another 10 seconds have passed, so an easy match could have started then. Oh, another person, and it just takes forever because of that, and it drove me nuts. Which is a shame.
It really is a shame, because the game is great once you actually get into a match. It's just getting into the match to begin with that really killed this game.
Yeah. So with that, let's talk more about, like, once you get into a game. As we said, this is a beat-em-up game, and like I said earlier, your goal is to kill other people. And it's very fun, but what makes the matches even more fun are there random events that happen on the map.
Yes, the specific random events for that map. Like, there was one that I was playing on that was like had a bit of a water area, and I had the Kraken pop out, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, the nice thing about the Kraken though is he's on that one platform, but I believe he spits out little spawns on the map too that just kind of randomly show up, and they attack you, making you you'll be fighting some. I remember at least on one of the Kraken fights I did, is like I was fighting a guy, just me and him, it was 1-on-1, and one of the Kraken spawns showed up because he spits them. They just kind of appear, I don't know how they get up there or wherever I was, and I wasn't paying attention, and it was behind, and it jumped on me. And so the guy got a free, combo on me and killed me because I wasn't paying attention, because I knew the Kraken was there, but I didn't realize how, the extent of how chaotic these random events actually cause the map to become.
Yeah, and it's like one of the first matches I jumped into after playing multiplayer. It was doing something, and all of a sudden random event happened, and the other team got a boost that it was like instant one-hit KO. You could try to hit them, but it did nothing to them, and they turned around and just one combo and you were dead.
Oh, that's rage mode. That's not a power up. That's if you have there's 2 gauges next to the other one. There's either a fire or lightning bolt. Once that's filled out, if you push R or L3 and R3 at the same time, you go into that mode.
The whole team?
No, not the whole team, but you can time it with the whole team.
That was the event for the whole team.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe they just had excellent core. I've never seen that one.
It was the whole team. All 4 of them had glow around them, and it was just just wipe the floor.
So that's interesting. So anyway, other random events that happen that I've noticed is every now and then a black hole will be formed, and it'll suck you in and throw you somewhere across the map sometimes, or just kill you. Or is that just when it explodes?
It teleports. It's basically a wormhole until the singularity explodes. You go through it and it'll warp you somewhere else, which is great if you have 3 or 4 of the enemy team chasing after you. Just run through, and now you're somewhere completely different.
But if you're too close to when it closes, you die. That happened to me. I was trying to run away from the singularity and didn't get away quick enough.
Yeah, and then there was a handful of events where you needed to go find cover or just move to a different portion of the map because it was either acid rain or there was missiles falling from the sky or stuff along those lines.
But my favorite, just because of the name, is Cthulhu, a giant robot of death.
Yeah, that's fun.
I remember our team was like, should we go fight Cthulhu or fight the other team? We ended up choosing Cthulhu because you kill Cthulhu, you get a ton of points. But Cthulhu has one attack that will, if he pulls off, you're dead. It's like a giant AoE laser beam attack, and it'll just kill you.
As he should.
Good old Cthulhu. But anyway, other than that, in a match, there's also another thing you gotta pay attention to, which is your level. The more enemies you kill, the higher your level. The higher your level, the more damage, the more health, and the more of your little raid, your devastating weapon gauge. That's what I'll just call it. Well, the longer that'll be, so the more you can do with that. If you die, you go back to level 1. Now, in theory, this sounds great. In an actual game, it drove me nuts. Because one guy would get all the kills, he'd be level, like, 3. I couldn't fight a level 3 at level 1. I would die, just because he'd have that much more health and do that much more damage.
Yeah, they gave a little too big of a bonus. One of the matches I played, it was a 2v2, and the chick with the fans who, like, she's annoying. Because this player had 6 kills and 0 deaths, she 2-shot, 1-shot everybody else, both me and my teammate. Like, it didn't matter what we did. We could not beat her.
Yeah. Synyster, anything you want to say on the level thing?
I didn't really notice much about it, besides the fact that because I kept getting my face planted in the ground or elsewhere into a building, I really had no time to really understand it.
Yeah, it's just... like I said, I like the concept, but I think it should have just been, like, maybe minor increase in health. Not as much as they give you. I mean, it almost doubles your bar once you hit level 2. I never hit 3. I assume that's like triple the size of your real health bar.
Yeah, it was a little overtuned.
That or just get rid of it, because I mean, I don't see a need for it, just because the gameplay itself should be what drives this more so, and just adding that level just adds on another complication for how, like, balance works.
It alienates the new players. It alienates people who aren't necessarily the world's best at the game. They're still trying to learn and whatever. But because they're fighting people who know what they're doing, they're leveling up, and the poor new guy is just getting his face wrecked over and over and over again, and there's nothing he can do about it.
An easy way to avoid that situation is another strategy you should always implement in this game, at least in team deathmatch, is never go alone. Always try to stay as a group.
Yeah, and if you and your party member are attacking the same person, you can hit, for the Xbox it's B, I'm assuming it would be a circle for the PlayStation, and you can do your team combo.
Oh, yeah. And those do a lot of damage, so you want to do those. But I don't know, like I said, I think they should just get rid of the level thing. Just make it... Because the other problem with leveling is people will steal your kills if they notice that, like, because when you're low on health, your nameplate will turn red, and everybody who's in the area on your team, at least in team deathmatch, or even free-for-all, will come to them to try to kill that person and steal the kill to level up. Just because leveling up is that overpowered.
Yeah.
It really does give an unfair advantage. And with that, we're going to go into... Is there anything else in the multiplayer you want to talk about?
Not much. We've covered most of it.
Yeah. And this is, like I said, this is the majority of the game. It's very simple, but like I said, there's a lot of gripes. So let's go into the roster. There's 16, right?
Yes, I believe 16, and you start off with 6.
Right, and then if you play story mode, you unlock everybody. Except for Bayonetta. That was if you pre-ordered, and Bayonetta is overpowered. We'll talk about that later. But there's... I guess you would put them into, what, 3 weight classes? Light, medium, and heavy? Because you have light characters like Leo and I think every female. They're a lot quicker with a lot of their, like, devastating and normal attacks, even their heavy, versus, you know, like, the heavy guys, which are obviously slower, but have a little bit more HP.
Yeah, it's your standard 3 categories.
Which works, except, I don't know how Synyster and Liz feel about this, but if you played a heavy, you had a very large advantage to start with, especially once you hit level 2. Because I know there's one character called Garuda that a lot of people were playing. There's Garuda and Max were, I think, the two worst cases I had of this. They're heavy characters. I usually play medium and light because I tend to be more combo intensive. And I would die if I went up against them, for the most part. And I thought that would be reversed. You'd think I would have an advantage over the heavy person.
In a normal game, you would have, but like we mentioned before, there's a lot of balancing issues between the characters in this game.
And another thing with the roster is, once again, if you played that weight class, almost every character played the same. There wasn't much of a difference between how they actually played.
Yeah, the only class that I would kind of disagree on that with is with the light category, because the light males played significantly different from light females.
Yeah, well, all the light females were freaking ninjas. Chinese ninjas is what I call assassins. From story mode. But anyway, yeah, okay. I would give that. Because the females were overpowered compared to, Leo? Leo and Zero.
I liked Leo, but you can't do anything with him. If you're fighting a heavy or a female, you were screwed.
However, if you're fighting a medium-sized character, or a medium character, which I think there's only 2 of them.
Yeah, it's a really small category. It's mostly actually just male, female, and heavy.
Yeah, about to say, if you really want to get down to how this game plays. Synyster, any comments on that?
Not really. It's just basically choose a character and hope that you can master that character to outdo your opponent.
And like I said, when I said they all play the same, they all have the same basic combos. It's pretty much you push this. Yeah, I don't think any of them have any unique input command for combos that I noticed.
No, I think they were all the same.
Yeah, kind of disappointing. So anyway, now we're going to go into the balance of this roster because, as we said, it's kind of broken. Heavy has a very large advantage over everybody, and then females, and then if you're playing a male guy, you're screwed.
Yeah, when you get queued into the matches, what you'll notice is that most of the people you are fighting against will either be playing Bayonetta if they had pre-ordered the game and have her, one of the other females, or they will be playing a heavy character. You will almost never find one of the other males on that list.
Well, the only males I found are that people played. A couple people played Zero. Durga was a little bit more popular, and nobody played Leo. Nobody. Unless that was...
Yeah, 95% of the time you were fighting somebody who is not a light male or medium male.
Which is a shame. But yeah, and heavy characters have an even bigger advantage in my opinion because, as I mentioned, you can grab a character. Heavy characters, if you do it right, you can grab 2 characters. And how's that fair?
It's not.
You're bigger, so you can grab 2. You have more health and you do a little bit more damage. You're a little slower, but you can now grab 2 people and all that. That's... something's not right there.
Yeah.
I will give Platinum the benefit of the doubt. This is their first foray into a game like this. But they need to fix balance. They need to...
Yeah. If they fixed the matchmaking and balance of the game, it would be a really fun game.
Yeah, but it's nitpicky stuff. But these nitpicky things we're talking about are they impact gameplay a lot because that is what that's what the game is gameplay. It's a nice little foray into something new, which is a shame. What else is there? Oh, we forgot to mention items and maps. Throughout the map, there are items and power-ups you can pick up. Some of them are pretty cool. Some of them are kind of pointless. I found grenades would be pointless. However, if you found the sniper rifle, you one-shot pretty much anybody.
I liked the electro discs.
I never found the electric discs.
Yeah, they're fun. You throw them at your target and then they're stunned.
That would have been nice. But I say the only weapons I usually found, I found the personal shield. That's useful, especially against heavy characters, because then you can wail on them for a little bit and get their health down. The sniper rifle, which, like I said, pretty much will kill anybody in one hit. And what was the other item I found a lot of? Oh, the missile launcher, which is kind of nice if everybody was together because you can lock on all of them. But that's only otherwise, and even then, it didn't quite work.
At least in the story mode, I felt like I should have been killing things faster with the rocket launcher, but like some of the enemies would still take the rocket launcher hit, and then me having to hit them afterwards. I feel a rocket launcher should have just blown them up.
Sniper rifle did that, tore them to pieces. I remember once. This is one of my favorite moments. Is I picked up the sniper rifle and I was running, and I was playing as Leo. And for once, there was another guy on the team playing as Leo, and he was chasing after me because I was trying to snipe one of their heavies. And he chased after me, pushed me away, and I'm trying to run away because I'm low on health, running health, and he kicks me across the map. I heard him turn around as he's running. He does another one of his jump kicks, and I shoot him in the air, and he instantly dies, even though he had like almost full health, and I was almost dead. I was very proud of that moment because it was completely utter luck, but that happened. But proving that the sniper rifle is overpowered.
I guess that's a balancing point for the game, is because, oh, you can be at light and grab. If you can luckily get the sniper rifle, you can start taking out everybody else.
Yeah, well, the sniper rifle only has like 2 shots, and it's a rarer item. So I mean, I give it the benefit of the doubt on that one. And I mean, you have to hit too. Like I said, I got lucky. It doesn't auto lock or anything. You have to aim. And it just happened that the Leo went into my crosshairs when I pushed the button. Because it was literally a split second pull out shoot and it hit. Complete and utter luck.
Yeah, overall though, I thought the items were kind of fun and nifty. Like, they just added, once again, another element to the game.
Yeah. Because the game itself is supposed to be very chaotic. With the random events definitely cause that. That's enough craziness in some of these maps. The items also, once again, add another layer of kind of chaos. The only things that detract from the chaos are balance issues. Because you have to avoid balance issues if you want to live and score. Or have other heavy characters on your team do all the work for you.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. You guys have anything else you want to say? Or anything I missed?
There is no local multiplayer. It is a brawler as a fighter, but there is no way to play with your friends unless they are at their own TV and console with their own copy of the game.
It's because local multiplayer is dead.
Not completely. And for fighters, it actually hasn't died at all.
That's because you can't.
Which is why it's kind of strange that this brawler doesn't have it.
Yeah, I expect maybe they didn't want to do split screen. I don't know. But yeah, I agree. They should have had split screen. Synyster?
Not basically the same thing as Lizzie said. It's just if they added local multiplayer, it might have actually been a little bit more fun, because then you can party up with people in the same household, or just invite your friends over instead of just having to be like, well, do you have the game?
I mean, even if they restricted you to the 2v2 maps, and because I mean those are the smaller maps, and you can play 4 people on a single console. That's just how consoles work. It would have created a party game as opposed to just being an online game.
Yeah. That or once again, just something like that. And like I said, it would also be nice, play with somebody near you so you could communicate and strategize them on the bigger maps.
Yeah.
Well, at least split screen, but because I can kind of see why they didn't do that. I mean, the maps are already kind of chaotic and big. Having only half of your screen limit your view, so. But still, yeah, it would have been nice to get a 4v, like a local 4v4 or 2v2 or something. So with that, we're now going to give the verdict on the game. We'll start with our special guest, Lizzie. You're going to give you a pass, rent, or buy.
Because of all the balance issues and the matchmaking times, I'm going to have to say pass.
Yeah. Synyster.
I'm on the same. It's a pass, because the fact that even if it's $30, but honestly, I wouldn't waste my money for be playing online multiplayer with all the issues it has for the multiplayer.
And then myself, Romanin, I actually give the game a rent. Like I said, if you can get over the issues we talked about, it is a fun game. It's it's $30 maybe at this point. Definitely not worth that because of all the balance issues and matchmaking system. But I think it is a worthy. It is a fun game. It is worthy of being played at some point. They just need to fix everything. I found, like I said, I found the campaign mode at least somewhat entertaining. But like I said, I would wait a little longer on this one just to see if they actually do fix the balance and but I give it a rent. So there you have it. Pass from both Synyster and Lizzie, and a rent from myself. Thanks for joining us, guys. That was fun. So next week is Devil May Cry, the new DMC game. I did the live stream earlier. You can watch the recording of that. There's a code in there for Dead Space 3 giveaway stuff. Once again, leave a comment below for another entry into the Dead Space giveaway, because everything we do revolves around this giveaway to get people to pay attention to us. Subscribe to our channel. Make sure you like the video. Check out the written reviews on the website. All that stuff. And that's it. So everybody take it easy and have a good day.